housekeeper, it's time to start. Mr. President, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, Ms. Karen Keller-Suter, Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and students. It's my great pleasure to welcome you this morning to this, the 43rd St. Gallen Symposium. As I came in, I was asked by a journalist, do you enjoy coming to St. Gallen? Well, I said this is my 16th consecutive year of coming, and I love it now more than ever. Seems maybe you love me too. Some of you have come a long way, and I'd like to say thank you for coming. In my judgment, this is a unique event. It's located here in this wonderful city of St. Gallen in the Bodensee region, and it's a World Heritage Site. The strapline of this event is 3 days in May, and the purpose is the leaders of today talking to the leaders of tomorrow. And in talking, in entering into dialogue, we obviously, because there are a lot of alpha people in the room, we obviously will express our views. But what's very important is that we should also be listening to people, and maybe especially listening to people who are slightly outside of our comfort zone. One thing I love about this occasion is that it's multidisciplinary, covering economics, politics, philosophy, science, business, innovation, and also it brings together political leaders from the region and religious leaders from the region. The Bishop of St. Gallen, Dr. Medler from the Protestant Church, and Rabbi Schmelzer from the synagogue. And I think possibly the most distinctive feature of the whole event is that it's run entirely by the students. 30 students take a year off from their studies. They design the program, they contact the speakers, they arrange the logistics, they maintain contacts, and they raise funds. And then they're in turn supported by over 300 students from St. Gallen itself. One thing the students do is choose a subject. And this year they've chosen as the subject rewarding courage. And what the students really want to do is to reject a society of conformity, of mediocrity, of compromise. They want to champion independent thinking, entrepreneurial activity, and greater courage and boldness in economic life. And as young people, they obviously dream dreams, and they have a vision of the kind of world they wish to create and they wish to live in the future. And it's a world which is inclusive, regardless of wealth, color, gender, class, religion, lifestyle. A world open to radical ideas, but on the other hand, a world made up of responsible citizens who are serving the good of all, the common good. And the students have posed questions for us. They've asked the questions, are the right incentives in place in education, in health, in tax and welfare, so that courage will be rewarded? Do our institutions, political, economic, encourage independent thought? How can management in companies best reward and unleash the enormous creative potential of people? And in exploring the subject, we shall hear from leaders who have had the courage to make a difference, individual testimonies. And please allow me to be personal for a moment. For 5.5 years, I had the privilege of working very closely in 10 Downing Street with Margaret Thatcher. And as I sat 2 weeks ago under the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral at her funeral, I was reminded of her extraordinary courage. She had the courage to fight discrimination against women entering politics, especially in the Conservative Party. She stood up to the power of trade unions crippling the country. She privatized monolithic state industries, and she championed the cause of freedom by challenging the might of the Soviet Empire and exposing the emptiness of Marxist ideology. And I believe that courage was rewarded. The UK economy was revitalized. We had a new language of political debate in which class as the central theme was replaced by the market. She, with others, kicked off 3 decades of globalization, and along with others, she helped bring about the fall of the Iron Curtain and freedom for countries of Eastern Europe. She wasn't a superhuman person. She came from a humble background, a grocer's daughter living above the shop in one of the lesser-known counties of England. She had her faults, and she made mistakes. But what she did have in spades, and I saw it every day, was a set of deeply held convictions on which her courage was founded. The precious value of freedom, the dignity of each human being, the supremacy of the rule of law, the ability of ordinary people to manage their own affairs, and the need to stand up always to fight terrorism and intimidation. And if we are to be people of courage, and I'd like to emphasize this to the students, we have to ask ourselves not just about whether our institutions provide the right incentives, but also what are our non-negotiable values on which our courage will be founded. The success of the conference depends not just on our distinguished speakers and panelists, our work sessions and topic leaders, but it depends critically on you and your participation. And therefore, I'd urge everyone this morning to make a commitment to play an active part in these days of the symposium, in putting questions, expressing your views, challenging accepted wisdom. And the one thing I can guarantee you is that you will certainly benefit, you'll have fun, and I think, like I have left this symposium for 15 consecutive years, you leave the symposium saying, that was a great experience. So thank you very much.